Like Bill Eckert entertain you with the help of INXS. Don't change for you. Don't change a thing for me. I found out love I had lost. Do. It was gone for too long. Hear no evil in all directions. Execution of bitterness. Down. Message received loud and clear. Don't change for you. Don't change a thing for me. I'm going to talk briefly about my 5 INXS CDs in my 7,777 CD collection, including the track "Don't Change" that I just sang a segment of, or excerpt from the album "Shaboo Shaba." Shaboo Shaba. That song, "Don't Change," kind of sparked a personal memory that I'm going to be sharing and talking about. But this one's from '82, Shabba Shaboo. Another track on here I really like is "Soul Mistake." But of course I have kicks. But there's an additional track on here. "Jesus Was a Man." Better than you or I. Yep, you're going to hear references to popular bands you may know, but you may not know the tracks. That's the extended version of Kick. That came out in '87, '88. Shaboo Shabazz, '82. Then I got one from '90, simply called X. I was really digging the last track on that one. Hear that sound? And then I got one from '97, jumps up to '97. I got a track on here called "We Are Thrown Together." It has a kind of an Egyptian-ish sound, according to my ears. But yeah, some people say that this band would still be around and still be doing stuff if the singer hadn't offed himself. But counting these 4 and then the greatest hits, I have 5 INXS CDs. Don't have the greatest hits with me because it's in my locker at work, waiting in the wings. See, I listen to the stuff that isn't popular when I'm working on my own. So when I'm working with somebody, and I'll play the hits. Works out pretty well. So getting back to the track "Don't Change" from Shaboo Shaba, 1982. Yeah, I just discovered that one, Soul Taker and then "Don't Change." I just discovered those songs. But yeah, that song "Don't Change," it definitely reminded me of something from my own past. What I'm about to share actually happened like almost 20 years ago. But I was innocent and naive, for the record. Long story short, I remembered somebody from those 6 years of child abuse in adolescence and in childhood and grade school. I remembered enough about the person to find the person, which I did. And let's just say, when a county deputy takes the time to call you to tell you not to do one specific thing, you probably shouldn't do it. Pardon me for breathing. But I'm not my father's the jailbird of the family, not me. So, and also too, I'm no longer impressed with human love anyways. Given my abusive upbringing, the 6 years I'm always referencing on this channel, I wasn't getting, whatever I needed in terms of the whole love and affection at home. So, of course, I'm going to look for it elsewhere. School. When I think back now, I was like, damn, why couldn't I have just had a crush on a teacher or something? It is what it is. But fast forward to these days, I've outgrown the need or want for human love. If it comes my way in a manner that is good for me, whatever. But I'm done with human love for the most part. I do find it, am I wrong? Comment below to find a mild humor in the fact that the county deputy told me specific, if this person, if this woman decides to contact you, quote, that's something else, but you don't contact her anymore. And I'm like, okie doke. Am I wrong to find humor in that? I mean, we're talking about childhood. Anyways, I had to have been born naturally with some kind of God given intuition. Thank you for that. Because somehow, even as a child, I knew that other people didn't live like this, the way me and my sisters were forced to live under the controlling hand of this male feminist, my father, for those 6 years. Thank God for the rule of law back then and the fact that I by law, had to go to school, so I had some knowledge of the outside world. When I think of this, I think of like back in the day, kids who had no choice. They couldn't, were totally under the authority of their parents, and if they were abusive, that was their tough luck. They just had to deal with it. But I'm talking, of course, now about the school system back then. From my perspective, what's going on in the world today, it's like the school system itself has become the abuser of these children. One of the rules under my father's abusive authority is we were not allowed to eat on Friday. So the school, knowing this, would give us cereal in the morning and a peanut butter sandwich before we went home. There were good teachers. This is before teachers union totally took over and completely destroyed the school system in the modern world today. But there were, I think some of these teachers were actually assuming financial responsibility for some of this stuff. But it is the school system in today's world that has become the abuser of these children. The school system is graping, I'm speaking in code now, graping the minds of these children, much like my father graped the minds of me and my sisters when we were children for those 6 years. Now it's the school system itself that is graping the minds of these young children, unfortunately. I don't think they definitely wouldn't, the FDA would not comply with this don't eat on Friday, because the whole point of the FDA is a business, in the business of selling food and drugs. And if you're promoting the idea don't eat on Fridays, that's not helping the business, the business design of the FDA. They're in the business of selling more food and more drugs. They don't make money off healthy people. So it is, in today's world, it is the school system that has become the abusers of these children. Now back to my memory from 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. I was always very open with coworkers and stuff about this, and I remember, in regards to remembering this person from childhood, I remember some of the advice I got. Yikes. Good thing I didn't take it. It was one of those life things that I just needed to process in my own way, which I have. I was ignorant to something back then, almost 20 years ago, that I'm no longer ignorant to. All human love comes with conditions. There is no such thing as unconditional love amongst humans. I mentioned this to a couple of people at work, and got some, no, that's not true. And to this day, I still maintain that if it was only the physical abuse that I sustained from my father, I think I would have grown up okay. But it wasn't just that. It was the mental and emotional abuse, which just got worse and worse and worse and worse as those 6 years progressed. I was just a child. I didn't know how to put that in words, obviously, but that was the reality of the situation. So in talking to people about this at work, now, today, or not today, but recently, we reached the conclusion that there might be an exception to that no unconditional love, with the exception of a parent and child. Which, but I'm, if those who watch my channel know, I'm constantly in debate on why my grandmother did what she did. Do you love your children more, or do you love your grandchildren more? And that's the one question that nobody could really, they admit it was difficult. They couldn't give a clear-cut answer for that inquiry. But it probably came into play with my grandmother and why she emptied out her bank account so my father did not have to do the time for the crime he was convicted of, the crime of child abuse. In the discussions with some people at work, like, well, you hope your child doesn't become a serial killer, but you still have to love them. It's like, okay, well, if that were me, if I had a child and the child ended up becoming a murderer, I'd be wondering, what the hell did I do wrong? Obviously, I fumbled the ball as a parent. But people don't think that way anymore. I am convinced that society sees children as its. Much the way my father saw me and my two sisters as its for those 6 years. I think society, including the school system, today, in 2024 rather, sees children as its to progress and further their ideology. Nothing more. Back then, going back 20 years ago now, I remember talking to my mom about this matter which I was dealing with, where I had contacted this person from my childhood, from adolescence. And I remember one of the viewpoints my mother expressed is, "You were children. It didn't matter. Don't contact this person." Which, obviously, my mom was worried that I had no intention at that point. I mean, again, like I stated, when a county deputy takes the time to call you and tell you not to do one specific thing, you probably shouldn't do that one specific thing. But anyway, my mom was probably was genuine concern for me at the time. Like, it was childhood, it doesn't matter. Which leads me to wonder if my mother even has one good memory as a child herself. I mean, society undermines children all the time, and always has. Society is the evil one. I was the naive one almost 20 years ago when I did this and I contacted this person. But anyways, the song from INXS, "Don't Change," kind of reminded me of that event in my life almost 20 years ago. But I did want to end this video kind of just expressing, as far as a mother and son relationship that I have with my mom now, we've had our disagreements in the past, but I think there is a mutual respect between us now. And I am thankful to my mother. Even though she didn't raise me in adolescence, I didn't have her in my life really till I was 13. But in the time she raised me, she did not raise me to be a mindless, spineless, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, honey. Yes, whatever you say. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, honey. Happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, happy life." And other such BS. My mother did not raise me that way, to be a mindless, spineless, "Yes, ma'am." She taught me respect, of course, because she, being female herself, she desired just respect just as any intelligent woman would. But that respect did not come before self-respect. That's what I believe society today teaches these young men, to put respect for women ahead of everything else, including your own self-respect. I believe that's the world we live in today. Before his incarceration, people have been watching my stuff, especially recently, I'm talking to now. Before my father's latest incarceration, I should say, this past summer, I've had him over here, I've made videos, posted them on here, but some of the conversations, and I use that word loosely, that I've had with the guy, he'd go on and on about how, "Oh, I love it when a woman says, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I'm strong, ooh, that turns me on so much." And I told him straight out, "Yeah, well, your mother did raise you to be a beta simp cuck. That's what you are. Why else would a man waste all those years of his life pursuing a female addict, drug addict. So anyways, that's how I really wanted to end this video. At some point I'm going to have to start sharing more of the footage that I've recorded on VHS tapes over the years. And somehow I'm going to have to come up with a schedule where I can do that and plus work two jobs and start sharing the footage and explaining the footage. And I basically recorded all my weekends because during the week I had to work and go to school. But I have a lot of my weekends on VHS, that's for sure. But that's basically what I wanted to do with this video today. Just to say thank you, Mom, for not raising me to be a mindless, spineless, yes, ma'am. Mike Perlak, thanks for your time.